I'm in here with the jiu-jitsu therapist, Eugene. We're gonna be doing some front squats. I'm gonna show you guys the warm-up that I like to use when I'm doing squat. I just see a lot of people doing too much foam rolling or just overloading on stretches all the time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this band, we're gonna do some band walks, we're gonna do some lateral band walks, front, back, and we're gonna finish up with some banded squats.
Guys, look at primary muscle groups when you're doing a squat. You know, you do have the quads, obviously. You have the glutes, hamstrings. All these muscles are really important. What Joe is concentrating on is an active and dynamic warm-up where he's actually activating the muscle groups, which is really important, you know, to get those muscles warmed up and get them primed and ready to move. You know, the prolonged stretching is really not as beneficial. It can actually decrease some of your strength production.
Latest study like decreases strength to like 78% almost.
I have no idea, but I know like basically if you
you're just lengthening the muscle out,
if you hold for a really long, I mean they
Yeah.
say maybe like 60 to 90 seconds and up kind of thing. What happens is you can actually get those stretch receptors to shut off, and so you're not going to get as good a firing of the muscle.
All right, so what he's telling you guys is it's much better to do this dynamic warm-up with these short bursts of movements versus these long elated just stretches. It's good for recovery, but it's not good for activation leading into a workout. The first one we're going to do, Eugene's going to talk us through it. It's going to be the forward banded walk with our start stance, guys. Make sure constant tension's in the band. I like to have my feet in my squat stance with a soft bend to my knee. Okay.
So the main thing here is keeping constant tension. He's engaging glutes and hamstrings, all those muscles here, and he's not letting his knees collapse. He's keeping a good alignment in his knees. Because when your knees collapse inward, it shuts off some of those.
And immediately I can feel the tension in my hips
off
just alleviate.
the muscles here, back there.
Versus here. I can automatically, as soon as my knees cave in, I can literally just feel relaxed in my hips, and that's not what I'm wanting to do.
Yep. So keeping good activation. Now you are getting some, you know, hip flexor in this, you know, the sides and the back of the hips. So now when Joe is doing a side step, again, more emphasis on the glutes, the kind of the abductors in general, these muscles out here. Again, he's keeping good alignment in the knees. He's not letting the knees collapse. He's keeping constant activation and tension of those glutes. It's a great way to, you know, really get the blood flowing and get those muscles primed and ready to move.
And one thing I'll also see when I'm teaching class and leading in this warm-up is when people start to get really tight in their glutes and that fatigue sets in, you'll start to see them also bend over a lot and hinge at the hips because it alleviates the stress back here. So that's why you also got to make sure you're standing upright when you're doing this as well.
And the one other thing that Joe is doing really well, if you watch his hips, he's not really leaning. He's keeping good level hips, which is important to really activate those muscles. Again, glute max, glute med, all those muscles back here, again the hamstrings, all those muscles are really getting a nice warm up.
This one burns so bad. Like it really, you feel this one more than any of them. A very common question I get with squats is, how wide should my feet be, right? Well, whatever feels natural for you up to the point your knees cave in, right? So this is a tool that I like to use when I'm also training people how to do squats, and I put this very thoroughly in my active warm-ups for my squats. So guys, the next warm-up we're gonna do is we're gonna do some banded squats. Now a couple things that we like to look for outside of normal squat mechanics is that when we're keeping this constant tension on this band is I'll push my knees out. I'm not letting the band buckle my knees in, okay? This is what I look for in this on a warm-up. Also, chances are if you're doing this in your warm-up, you're doing this on your squats as well.
Sure.
So now I'm going to do a couple reps. Eugene's going to explain what's going on, and we'll get going.
Again, this is just a basic cue for your muscle groups to engage. You know, you don't want to allow the knees to collapse that way, because if that happens, you shut off a lot of those outer hip muscles, and those glutes shut off as well. Hamstrings will shut off, won't work as well, and you'll be more quad dominant and also more dominant on your back. You'll use your back muscles you're not really supposed to use, more for bracing. So here, basically what Joe's doing is he's waking up those muscles a little bit. He's feeding into a good movement pattern, and then the band just gives him some feedback into proper activation of the muscle groups.
Yeah, so normally I don't want to tell you what not to do, but try to keep from doing this, guys. I see a lot of people get here in a squat, and as soon as they go to reactivate, you'll see this, and then they're popping their knees back out. That tells me in your squat mechanics, you're probably bottoming out, trying to retighten and pop up out of the bottom. So keep that constant tension in the band the whole time. So this is just one of the warm-ups, guys. Anytime I'm doing a squat move, okay? That means where cleans, snatches, front squats, back squats, anything I'm doing where I'm in a squat motion for even part of my workout, this is one of the workouts I do. And for a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, as much as they're using their hips in their workouts every day, like these should all be go-to warm-ups, like unequivocally. Like if I had to give you just one warm-up to ever do again, this would be it for your hips. But that's it, guys. We're gonna do some squats now. Thanks for coming.